turn its head in that way.
In that way, yep.
Anyhow.
Another laughing. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it wasn't your fault, trust me. Unless you threw that out in front of me, which is...
In our last video, I walked you through how we prepare for every investigation and the weeks of work leading up to the investigation that we do to make sure everything goes off without a hitch. Well, let's face it, nobody's perfect. And there are several things over the last couple of years that have really bothered us. Missed opportunities, mistakes, things that we wished we had done differently. Not necessarily things we realized during the investigation, but more of those moments when you're driving home from the investigation or in the days after where you just go, oh, why didn't we do that? Why didn't we take advantage of this? Why didn't we put a camera there? Those things that to this day still bother us. They absolutely bother us, and they bother me most of all because every one of these mistakes are on me. These are all mistakes that I made and missed opportunities that I didn't see during these investigations. So sit back, relax, and let me walk you through some of our biggest missed opportunities in our investigations. When we met with Jim, the owner of the Worcester Inn, after our first investigation there, he told us that he wanted to have a gathering before our next investigation in September. I misunderstood what gathering meant. I assumed he meant 3 or 4 people that would sit around a table, we'd talk about evidence, we'd show evidence, and that would be it. It'd be something plain and simple. To be fair, Emily tried to tell me that I was wrong. So we went up there, and it turned out to be about 20 to 25 people, and I wasn't prepared. I had a laptop. I didn't have any way of showing evidence. I didn't have any kind of speaker system to play it. I just wasn't adequately prepared. And as Emily and I were discussing that over dinner right before the gathering at the restaurant at the Worcester Inn, even the spirits mocked me when they put the words up on the obelisk that I was wrong and I missed the details of it. So that's a missed opportunity. We really had a chance to show all the evidence so that everybody could easily see it instead of watching it on my laptop. And that still bothers us to this day. And as a result of that, what we learned was that now whenever we go to do a follow-up investigation or if we're going to meet with people, we bring the whole show. We bring the speakers, we bring the projector, we bring the screen. Most of the time we don't use it all, but you know what? We have it. We have it. And as it's a result of us learning that lesson of just not being prepared when it came to the gathering at the Worcester Inn. It's something that was avoidable. It was my mistake. The spirits even mocked me for it. Still bothers me a little bit today. Equipment malfunctions all the time. We're used to it. It happens a lot. Even the best equipment's going to malfunction. However, we have safeguards that we do to keep making sure that those things don't happen. Or if they do happen, we catch them in time. When we held our event at Grapevine Farms in January, I did not check the cameras the way that I normally do. And what happened that night was the camera that was set up in David's room failed almost immediately after hitting record. We don't know why it failed. It wasn't unplugged from the wall. I don't know. I can't tell you why it failed, but it did. Now, I usually check all of the cameras periodically during the night. Didn't do it this time. It was our, big event. A lot of people there, a lot of people to keep, tabs on, and I just got distracted. Now, it's not a good excuse, but it's what happened. So the biggest loss in all of that is we didn't get any footage from David's room that night. Now, we've said in the past that in events you don't get a lot of footage anyway that's usable. However, at the event we brought in the footstone of what we believe to be David's wife, and that was going to get a reaction. They felt the energy. We got electromagnetic spikes. We had a lot of people feeling the energy in that room change, and because I didn't check the camera, we have no visual footage from that room that night to back up any of the paranormal claims that happen. And we've caught so much audio and so much video in there in our investigations of Grapevine Farms that it kills me that during that most important introduction of that footstone into that room, because I didn't check the cameras, we don't have anything. So again, it just renders everything that happened in there as hearsay, and all we have to show for that is some still photos, some great experiences, but the experiences without the evidence, can't claim it. It's all hearsay. So yeah, that was from now. Trust me, we check the cameras. I now check the cameras every hour because I'm scared that something like that's going to happen again. And look, I don't know if we would have caught anything, but that's just it. I don't know. And that not knowing drives me crazy even today. Now, I made a whole video on the incident with Emily getting pushed down the stairs at the Burlington County Prison in New Jersey. And that was a regretful event. We wish that hadn't happened, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I don't necessarily regret that it happened. I regret not getting more evidence when it happened. So am I saying that I should have been thinking about evidence while Emily was writhing on the ground in pain, 2 black eyes, a bruised face, and the paint from the railing she hit with her teeth still on her teeth that we had to peel off? Yeah, I am. Given the signs beforehand, I wish we would have kept the recorder going. I wish we would have had a camera going. I wish I'd gotten a picture of the ovulus saying carpet and yank right after the incident happened when we were both on the ground. It makes the whole incident hearsay, and that's why it took us so long to talk about it, because I don't have any physical concrete evidence that it happened beyond the horrible pictures of Emily after it happened in the aftermath with the black eyes and the bruised face. So we regret that it happened, but actually my biggest regret in that whole incident is that I didn't have a recorder going, we didn't have a camera going, and we have zero concrete evidence to back up that it happened. This next one, every paranormal investigator in the world can claim this as a pet peeve, but for us, there's 2 very specific incidents of this that still bother me to this day. And in both cases, there was really no way to know, but still it bothers me, and I wish I had acted differently. And it's most of these times, all these times, it's the first investigation. It's the first time we investigated Miss Fanny's and the first time we investigated Grapevine Farms. I should have put cameras in 2 very specific places, and I didn't. Miss Fanny's, I should have put a camera in the attic. She told us in the tour that there was some activity in the attic that she had got, here and there, but there wasn't so much that I felt that we should put a camera there. I also didn't have as many cameras back then as we do now. We only had 3 or 4 cameras then as opposed to about a dozen that we use now. But we did catch a lot of activity in there, and even Pedro and I even felt led there later in the night. We caught some EVP. We had some amazing experiences, and I wish I'd put a camera in there. I really do. We have the handheld footage from later in the night, but that represents about 10 minutes of a 5-hour investigation, and I still am bothered by the fact that I didn't have the camera in there all night. The second incident that pops out to me of not putting a camera where we should have is the basement of Grapevine Farms. The first time that we investigated there, when we took the tour, they mentioned the basement. They talked about some paranormal activity in the basement, but we were very focused on the tombstone room, and the upstairs hallway, which was what Grapevine Farms was really known for, the locations being haunted. It was known for those places. The basement was told to us, and we spent a little time down there. We had some experiences down there. In retrospect, I should have moved a camera down there right after that happened. I didn't. But we didn't really start communicating with Michael a lot until we actually had our event there, where we had some amazing experiences with Michael in the basement. But given, again, just how much audio and video we've collected in the basement of Grapevine Farms, I, to this day, regret not putting a camera down there for our first investigation so that we might know more about the spirits down there. We might know more about Michael. And we're very careful now, whenever we never overlook any part of a haunted location now when we go there. If we have a camera and there's even a slightest hint of a place where there's paranormal activity, we definitely make sure to put a camera there. This one still makes me mad. In our last investigation of the Worcester Inn in September of 2019, we found out right before we were starting to investigate that there was no one else in the hotel that night. None of the rooms were booked. No one but Emily and myself and the spirits. And we didn't do enough with it. We weren't prepared. That never happens. That never happens. We never book anywhere and they go, oh, by the way, you're the only people here and you can do anything you want. We just didn't plan for it. You can't plan for that. You don't know. We didn't know. But we should have opened every single door in that hallway. We should have played loud music, rolled soccer balls down the hall, up and down the hallway. Ran around, tried to get the ghost of the kids to run with us, trying to do something. We will never have that opportunity again. And we didn't do enough with it. We did a lot with it, and we caught a lot of great evidence in that investigation. We really did. It was a great investigation. But now, that still bothers me. We had that entire hotel to ourselves. We could have done so much more with it, and that will probably never happen again. And it drives me crazy even today. Well, they say those that don't learn from their mistakes are doomed to repeat them. And man, we've made a lot of mistakes. And I've reviewed with you today some of the ones that still drive me the craziest. But they're among many. We've made a lot of mistakes, and we've learned from every single one of them. And there will always be times when we look back at every investigation and say, why didn't we do this? Why didn't we do that? Why didn't we take advantage of this? Why didn't we ask that question? Why didn't we try this experiment? It's all a learning experience, and every investigation is, you learn from it. The bad things you learn from, the good things you learn from. And we'll continue to share it all with you, the good and the bad.